Pamela DuLong Williams is our first speaker, our first presenter tonight. Pamela attended the Art Student League in New York City, the Boston Museum School of Fine Arts, and graduated from Vesper George School of Art in Boston, Mass. She has taught painting at Silvermine School of Art in New Canaan, Connecticut, UNH, Wentworth College and Coolidge Art Center in Portsmouth here. That's in Portsmouth? Where is it? Anyone know? All right, after the event, we're all going to go by there. Sound good? Little field trip. Hartwood College of Art in Kennebunkport, Maine. Rowington, Pamela, you're really challenging me here. The Rowington Art Center in Rowington, Connecticut, as well as numerous workshops in Canada, Italy, France, Mexico, and the US. So she's done a little bit of training. Miss DuLong has been exhibited and awarded in many competitions, such as the National Academy in New York and Allied Artists in New York. So just to name a few, she's got a whole list here. So look her up and you can see the rest of her awards. Her work is also in permanent collections of Credenstalt in New York City. Did I get that right? No? Close? Can you say it for me? No? Please? Oh, come on. It's also in the State House in Boston, the Louis William Cohn Collection in Wilmington, North Carolina, and several other private collections. She's also published. Pamela has been published in Artists Magazine, Coastal Living Magazine, Art Collectors Magazine, and Domino, not the pizza place. She is an artist member of Silvermine Guild of Artists, the Copley Society, Portrait Society of America, and the Ogunquit Art Association. All right, everybody, that's what she's done. Now let's listen to her speak. Let's give her a warm welcome. Thank you. Don't forget to give us the thumbs up.
Okay. Well, thank you. Can you hear me? Is it working? Is it working? Is it? Okay. I've got the worst voice in the world, so bear with me. There are two things I never wanted to do as an artist growing up. One was teach, and the other was traditional portrait painting. I ended up doing both my way passionately. There isn't anything I enjoy painting more than people, and secondly, there isn't anything that feeds me more as an artist and challenges me than teaching. Henry Miller said, "To paint is to love again." It is that magical thing that happens every time I wet my brush. With that, I'm vulnerable to the unimaginable elation of loving the dance of the creation before me, or the emptiness of a silent image without a breath. But as a passionate love affair, it's about the ride, not the destination. Okay. My passion of portraiture is letting the painting come through me, not from me. Good portraiture is creating first and foremost an interesting painting of strong composition with an emotional portrayal of the subject. The challenge is to create an illusion of 3 dimensions on a 2-dimensional surface through academic use of color, value, temperature, and intensity. I engage the sitter in conversation at the start of the session while they find their sweet spot in the model chair. They begin to open and direct the session with their conversation and body language. They slip into a comfortable pose and talk about themselves, which enables them to present who they are. All the while, I'm composing the painting and grabbing moments that strike me. Composition is the key to a good painting. Body language and shapes are key in capturing a likeness. I'm really unaware of most of what the model is saying. The conversation is merely a diversion, so I can find that inspiration to begin as the model becomes more comfortable. All the while, I'm moving about the studio, adjusting the lights and changing the backdrops to best enhance the sitter's palette. This creative process inspires the starting point for the painting. My impression of the sitter, what is this painting about, who is this person, the best composition to express my idea. I love this part. When it happens, I begin running as fast as I can to catch what the sitter is giving. All my years of painting come right up to the easel with me like a band of soldiers. All my experiences of good and bad choices, palette formulas, drawing abilities, and compositions. My miles on the brush with all the failures and successes. At that point, I'm operating from a transformed plane of listening to the creative direction within me. I begin the drawing in charcoal on the canvas, map out the anatomy of the face and body. I take my time. This is a really crucial first step. I need to slow myself down mentally and make important observations. This part can take from an hour to an entire sitting. I go within myself and feel the sitter's pose. Weight distribution, hip placement can influence the tilt of the head, which will determine the angle of the shoulders and the placement of the hands. There is the body language of that individual. That is how they are recognizable. When I have a general map of the face and figure, I spray the drawing and prepare my palette to begin. This is by no means the finished drawing. Drawing adjustments continue throughout the painting, correcting and remeasuring constantly. This can be a point where I can lose the sitter's connection to me and they slip into a state of their own inner thoughts. This can be a good thing. It shows on their face and in their body language. I quietly let this happen. Sometimes they forget I'm in the studio with them and drop their outer face while listening to the music and following their thoughts, hopefully. Like a flower opening to the light, I watch and wait. And all of a sudden, that's where the painting is. For me, this is when I fall in love. In love with painting and the model before me. I then begin to mix the palette, identifying the sitter's individual complexion. All flesh tones are a combination of red, yellow, and blue, the primary colors, but each of us have varying degrees of warmer or cooler tones, darker or lighter complexions. My palette is well balanced with warm and cool temperatures of the basic colors. My approach is that of the Impressionist school, is painting what you see as you build the face, not what I think I know. It's all about observations. I sculpt the form as I paint it, and I'm always thinking three-dimensionally of the form and space, always using the tools of color, value, temperature, and intensity, as I said. I also paint in verbs. I think this is important. Maybe the light is falling like rain from the forehead down the nose and the cheeks and puddles in the lap. Maybe the sitter is stiff and guarded. Maybe the look in the eyes are soft and compassionate. I begin with the eyes, always the eyes. They're the focal point of the painting, even if they're in the shadow. The gaze of their eyes. Where are their thoughts, their joys, their quiet place that no one knows? That's what I'm thinking while I'm working. I'm responding to their thoughts as shown on their face. Sometimes I find it necessary to keep them connected to me, so I'll ask them a question or I'll just make chit-chat. I don't want them to drift too far away. This is important, especially when I'm painting the eyes. Constantly keeping my thoughts where my brush is, or I'll lose it. The moment of capturing that fleeting, ever-changing expression, that little glance or Mona Lisa slight smirk that only the artist saw, this is what photography can't give me. As this process continues, the layers of the model peel away and the deepening intimacy comes through the canvas. I work quickly as they paint the portrait before me. I'm just the tool with the knowledge they are the portrait.